languages. She is a master of yoga, a yoga acharya, and she has her own television shows on yoga. She is the founder of Yoga Love and the founder of Namami Yoga, where she teaches yoga and life skills to the underprivileged children. Ira has been guiding many in lockdown with simple techniques for breathing, fitness, and overall well being. And we are privileged to have her here with us today for this specially curated and interactive session with the LSG. So before we begin, I want to suggest that all of you activate your own mute buttons so that we can all enjoy this and follow clearly what Ira is going to be saying to us. Do type your questions into the chat box as we move along, and they will be taken up. Also, use the speaker view setting on your Zoom on your gadget for a better viewing of this session. So Ira, before we start, I want to understand, I know you went to Columbia University, you've written so many books, and you're a yoga acharya. Can you share some insights about this journey?
Absolutely, Dia. Firstly, namaste and welcome everyone. Thank you for taking your time. It's an honor and a blessing to be here. Calcutta remains one of my most favorite cities. And in fact, it was the last city that I visited and the last workshop that I conducted with the YPO in Calcutta right before lockdown. And during that YPO session that I conducted, I made so many friends from Calcutta who actually joined in on our online yoga journey and remain connected to us. Including Mr. Bhartia, of course, who introduced all of us today. So thank you again to Dia and to everyone else in this meeting. I hope you can hear me correctly. I have actually mandatorily muted everyone, so no one can unmute themselves except unless you're a host. These are some meeting controls that we use during an online yoga class because we do need absolute silence in the meeting to create that atmosphere. So if anyone has anything to say, please put it in the chat box. That would be fantastic. So now, Dia, coming to your question. Yes, definitely. It was, you know, both of my careers, writing as well as yoga, I feel like they have been blessings in my life, you know, more blessings than say a career choice. Both of them have happened very unexpectedly. I don't think I ever thought I would be a yoga teacher, and I definitely never thought I'd be a writer. In fact, I set out to be an investment banker or maybe some sort of a business tycoon, and life always had other plans for me. So I think when you open yourselves up to the path, you know, then the path automatically shows itself. The problem that a lot of us make is that we actually don't open ourselves to the path. You know, we remain constricted because of our minds on a path that someone else may have chosen for us, our parents, society, whatever it is. And out of fear, we don't take the decisions that our heart maybe wants us to take. So this has been my personal journey. And I'm really, really pleased to be teaching you some very, very common techniques today. And even if you know these practices, just encouraging you to stay on the path as we face lockdown after lockdown. And as even when we go back, it's a new normal, you know. So in today's session, I was hoping that we would just practice all together. I would teach you some tips, and then hopefully at the end, we have a little bit of time for question and answer. I'm just gonna adjust this camera as well. There we go. Great. Perfect. Dia, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, very clear.
Perfect. So should I begin, or Dia, do we want to, is there anything else that you'd like me to?
We're all
okay,
set.
Perfect.
Many of us are on our mats.
Perfect. Okay, great. So even if you're not on your mat, that's not a problem. Okay, you can just take a comfortable seated posture. And even if you're not in, I'm seeing many of you here, that's wonderful. And just one request that I have, if your cameras are off, please turn them on. Only no one else is watching. You know, I think it creates a really lovely energy for all of us to keep our cameras on and remain connected. So do turn them on. Thank you, Shraddha. Thank you, Chandrini ji, Bharti ji, Vijaya ji. Just turn your cameras on. I think it's beautiful. Archana, thank you so much. So welcome to all of you. Thank you, Vinita. Good to see you. Vinita is one of our regular attendees. Thank you. Good to have you. So good. It's always good to see you. You know, it's always nice to have that personal connect in class. So please join in. You know, when we see everyone together on like one big screen, then you feel like you're really together. So just a couple of things. You can grab a cushion if you're sitting on the floor to make seating more comfortable. I'm going to tell you a very simple technique of sitting comfortably on the ground to support the tailbone. And even if you cannot sit on the ground, that's not a problem. The only expectation that I have is that you keep your spine straight. So even if you have a sofa like this and you just want to sit behind it, sometimes in the mornings when I do my pranayama practice, it's kind of tedious to sit up straight. So I always take a nice sofa and I still put a cushion behind my back so that my spine remains straight, right? And I just want to also say that, guys, any questions that you have, please put them in the chat box. You know, I'm watching this screen all the time. So any doubts that you have, so we can sort of have a little bit of interaction. But because there's a lot of us in this class today, we want to have the mute on so that there's no interferences. So before we begin, I would like all of us to do a little guided meditation together. So either you can lie back on your mat in Shavasana, or you can sit up straight and just close your eyes. So I'd like everyone to just get comfortable, closing your eyes and getting into a really comfortable seated posture, or just a lying down. Even lying down can be very soothing at this time of the day. So just lying back on the mat in Shavasana, that's also quite nice. And just allowing the spine to sink into the ground. And just making sure the eyes are closed. And if you're lying down, allowing the spine to sink down into the ground. And just beginning to pay attention to your breath. Inhaling deeply and exhaling completely. Inhaling deeply and exhaling completely. Inhaling deeply from the abdomen and exhaling completely. Beginning to breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathing in and breathing out. And breathing in and breathing out. If all of our hosts can make sure that they're muted, I think we have someone who may be unmuted. Now bringing all the focus to the toes. Bringing all the focus to the ankles, the calves, the knees. Bring all the focus to the thighs. Bringing all the focus to the pelvis, to the base of the spine. Bringing all the focus to the neck, to the chest. Bringing all the focus to the face, to the chin, to the lips, to the nose, to the eyes, to the forehead. And just breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Just beginning to bring all the focus inwards. Making sure the mind is completely restful. And just releasing all tensions, any tensions from the morning, any tensions of the day. Just breathing in and breathing out and releasing all the tensions. Inhaling, deep breath in, fresh prana from the environment. And exhale completely. Inhaling deeply and exhaling completely. Inhaling deeply and exhaling completely. And before we begin, let's place a sankalpa resolution. A sankalpa that for the next 45 minutes, we'll give our complete focus and concentration. For the next 45 minutes, I will remain completely focused and concentrated. For the next 45 minutes, I will remain completely focused and concentrated. And just taking a moment to feel the breath moving in through the nostrils and exhaling completely. Just feeling the breath on the nostrils and exhaling. And just moving the gaze all the way inward. So you really begin to feel that relaxation. The parasympathetic nervous system is kicking in. And now slowly, if you're lying down on the mat, wiggle the toes, wiggle the fingers, and stretch the arms up. If you're sitting down, then still wiggling your toes, wiggling your fingers. And stretch the arms over and above the head. Take a nice stretch of the whole body. So everything is stretched out, pulling everything up. Bring the arms totally down. Bring the right arm to the side, stretching the arm, stretching the left arm. And if you're lying down, slowly coming up to a seated posture at the top of the mat. And if you're sitting up, pulling your spine upright and just getting ready for the pranayama practice. Let's open with a short prayer. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Now inhaling deeply. Om, Om, Om. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Uruvarukamiva Bandhanat Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Welcoming everyone back to class. Just setting the tone, getting the focus and the concentration. So now we're ready to begin, right? So we're going to first talk a little bit about the breath, and then we're going to go straight into the practice. But before that, if you could just make sure everyone is muted, that would be wonderful. So we can create an atmosphere of silence in our class. We try to make the atmosphere as realistic as possible. I think all of you are muted, but the hosts may have to mute themselves once. I think maybe one person is unmuted. I can hear a little bit of ambient sound. So we could just check to make sure. That would be fantastic. And encouraging everyone to kindly turn on their cameras, right? So we can all sort of remain connected. That's always beautiful. So just talking a little bit about the breath, right? In my life personally, the pranayama practice has been utterly transformative. In fact, more so than the asana practice. And when you get into a daily practice of doing pranayama, it can yield to such amazing benefits, right? And now ancient practices have always known this. Yoga, Tai Chi, ancient Chinese, ancient Indian practices. But in the West is now beginning to discover the power of the breath. In fact, breath can straighten your spine. Breath can cure autoimmune diseases. Breath can help to cure diabetes, blood pressure, cholesterol, all of it. You know, in fact, even breathing correctly has been shown to help scoliosis. It's that powerful. But often we don't do these pranayam practices because of time. We say we don't have time, or we just rush into whatever our work is, right? So I really hope that if anything, nothing else, this session inspires you to begin paying attention to the breath and trying to incorporate a daily pranayam practice, right? This knowledge is available to us. This is part of our heritage, right? Living in India comes with lots of different problems, but it comes with some advantages. And some of this advantages is taking actually taking some of these practices that we have. In fact, Dia asked me, you know, you lived in the West, you went to one of the finest business schools in the world, and now you're on this journey. And a part of it is because when I came back to India, I realized that, oh my gosh, we have such a wealth of knowledge, right, available to us at our fingertips. And often we don't take advantage of it. So in my own family, there's been so many acharyas and teachers, and now that culture has been completely lost. So it's part of my journey to try and rediscover some of the things my ancestors taught, some of the things that are in our culture, and try to relay it into modern lives. So when we lead a modern life with family, with children, with work, with nowadays no parties, but maybe moving closer to Diwali, there's all sorts of stuff like that happening, right? So how can we incorporate this in a very easy and effective way? And so that I feel like has been my mission, right? With many of my TV shows, with my books, and even with these classes. And online has really presented a whole new world, right? Like the world of online yoga is such a boon to yoga because now everyone has access to amazing yoga teachers and everything at the one click of a button away. You don't even have to travel anywhere, you know? So now all of us must use these practices. All of us must tap into these ancient practices and use them to guide our life. So breath is something which is truly, truly amazing, right? And when you begin to focus on your breath, everything changes. Even an asana practice is nothing, it's gymnastics, unless you pay attention to the breath. I'll tell you before we even begin about how I do my daily pranayam practice, right? When my life takes over, especially when I'm traveling, how do I keep this practice intact? And I'll tell you what I do is I do the practice first thing in the morning, many times, often in my bed. You know, the minute I wake up, before I look at my phone, before I get called from my family and that stuff happens, before I check my WhatsApp, definitely before you check your WhatsApp in the morning, you got to do your pranayam practice, you know. So even sitting on your bed, you can just begin it. 15 minutes is all you need to begin. Two practices, Kapalabhati and Anulom Vilom. For a modern life, that's all you need. You don't need very complicated kriyas. You know, I know the Art of Living and Isha Yoga has beautiful kriya practices, but they're a little bit longer and they're quite involved. They have a lot of different practices going on. And a lot of people often drop off because it's 21 minutes or this certain timing. Here, with these two practices, tailor it according to your needs. If you have 7 minutes, do it for 7 minutes. There's two practices, right? Aniloma Viloma, which is your main pranayam, and the Kapala Bhati, which is a cleansing kriya, which will get you prepared for the Aniloma Viloma. Often in the morning, the Kapala Bhati will stimulate your bowel movements, which is wonderful. Because if you're feeling like going to the bathroom because you're putting pressure on your abdomen, go use the loo, come back, and do the rest of your practice. Okay, so you know, you don't even have to brush your teeth, guys. You know, don't even brush your teeth, nothing. Just sit on your bed, do the practice. It becomes a habit. This is how we begin forming our habits. So what's a daily habit in everyone's life? You have to get out of bed, right? That's how you start your day. So with this, you do your attach your Kapalabhati practice and your Anuloma Viloma practice. Begin with 6 to 7 minutes. That's all you need. And slowly, slowly, slowly over time, you can make 7 into 10, 10 into 15, 15 into 20. And like this, you can slowly, slowly proceed, right? This is the best way of starting your Kapalabhati and your Anuloma Viloma practice. And even if you're coming to yoga class, you know, even if you're coming to yoga class, still I would encourage you, do these practices as something of their own in the morning as soon as you wake up, right? That's the best way of doing it. Your stomach is empty. You don't even need to drink a glass of water. If you want to, you can drink 2-3 glasses of water. This will further stimulate your bowel movements. If you have any issues of constipation in the morning, this practice really gets you going. It's way better than anything else. It's way better than Trifla or Isabgol or whatever it is that you may take. I promise you the Kapalbhati is one of the best ways to cleanse your system. All right? So do what you have to, right? You are your own best doctor. You know your schedule the best. So if someone says you have to do it for 21 minutes or 15 minutes, that's not the truth. Do whatever is applicable to your schedule. It could be 5 minutes, right? Because all of us have different constraints in our life, right? Some of us have to wake up early because we have to be there for our kids in the morning sometimes we have to drive them to school, right? Sometimes you have to wake up in the morning because our in-laws are there and we may have to take care of them. Whatever your constraints are in life, whatever they are, you can't tailor your practice according to you. So don't let any guru, any teacher let you tell you otherwise, right? That's the first most important thing. Now let's come to the Kapalbhati practice. So I'm going to demonstrate it to you, and then we're going to practice one round all together. I'll be watching you guys. So if you position your camera so that I can see your abdomen, I can help you. Just looking at some of the basic things that sometimes people do wrong. Any contraindications, if you're on your period, it may become a little uncomfortable, so I suggest to avoid it. If you have very high blood pressure, then you can avoid it. Otherwise, even then you can do it very gently. Now to sit. I often take a cushion like this and I place it underneath my tailbone, right? So just underneath here, right? Not like this, because this destabilizes your spine, but just like this, just 1 inch, so that the tailbone remains straight. So if you feel like collapsing, this actually helps you go up like this, because that's the number one thing we have to do, is first to sit with our spine straight. And there's many reasons behind that, but we'll get into that on a longer pranayam workshop. Okay, because today we have very little time, but we're going to try to establish as much. This is meant to be a practice session, but also an motivation session, right? So to get these practices into your life and to pursue the power of the breath. So let's again sit comfortably. Even if you're in a chair, make sure your back is straight. Try to keep your hands in chin mudra, right? These mudras are quite valuable. They have a lot of science behind them. We're working on our acupressure points. These are quite good nerve endings in our body. So let's put them on the knees. And we slowly begin to breathe in and breathe out. We're using our breathing in from here and moving the air all the way up. So make sure that the abdomen is being used, right? The diaphragm is being used. So you can place one hand on your abdomen to see, is it where you're taking your breath in from? So let's inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Just doing a few deep breaths along with me. So inhaling from the abdomen, air goes all the way up, and exhaling completely. We're pushing all the air out of the abdomen, chest and nose. Inhale, abdomen, chest, nose. Exhale, abdomen, chest, nose. Now just open your eyes once and just take a look at what I'm doing with my abdomen. So I'm really pumping just my abdomen. I'm exhaling from my nose, and I'm inhaling from my nose. Dia, could you just make sure that everyone is muted? That would be wonderful. Yeah, there's some unmuted happening. I can hear some noise in the background. So we're just pushing in from the abdomen and we're inhaling from the nose. If you take your finger and place it underneath the nostrils and just blow out on your fingers. Very good. So that you're really pushing the air out. Then you know you're moving with your abdomen correctly. So really pushing the air out. So vigorously blowing on your fingers. And then breathing in from the abdomen. So blow out onto the fingers and breathe in from the abdomen. Blowing out onto the fingers and breathing in from the abdomen. Do you guys see it now? Yeah? So you're really, remember, you're exhaling from the nose and you're allowing the in-breath to happen by itself, right? So it's a, And then the breath is coming in by itself. So it's not like this. You're not breathing in at all. The only action that you're doing is breathing out vigorously. So the air should really come out as if you're really blowing on something, right? Like a big sneeze. So can everyone try this once? And I'm just going to see what I'm, observe you guys to make sure you're doing it correctly. The ones who I can see on the camera. Yeah, beautiful, Enu. A little bit harder. Very good. Very good, Archana. Good. And try not to move the shoulders too much. Very good, Archita. That's completely perfect. Yeah, just trying to blow out, meaning very good. Blowing out a little bit hard and then breathing in. And now let's try a few rounds together. So my counting is going to go something like this. It's going to go 1, 2. 1, blow out. 2, automatic inhalation. 1, blow out. And then automatic inhalation. That's how I'm going to move with my counting. It's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So now let's do this all together. So just taking a posture, sitting with your back straight, your spine straight. Close your eyes. Keep the chin slightly tucked in towards the chest. The head is not moving up and back, but the head is slowly creating a small bandha in the throat. Now let's inhale deeply. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now inhaling deeply. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and release. And now just take a few breaths at your own pace, making sure that your mouth remains closed, right? You're not keeping the mouth open. Now we're going to do a 30-second breath retention, a 30-second kumbhaka. So inhale, exhale, just close your eyes. Kajal ji, close your eyes. Anuradha ji, close your eyes. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Now inhaling deeply, 3/4 of the lungs full. Close the eyes and focus on the point in between your eyebrows. Keeping that focus. Just tuning your mind in. Any sounds around you, any disturbance, don't let it affect the mind. Just start tuning in. Becoming one with the breath. If you're feeling any pressure in the lungs, just stay with it. And slowly, with control, exhale. Inhale. And let's exhale. Let's inhale and just exhale. Only everyone who has done this with focus and concentration will feel the difference. And now you can open your eyes and please do ask me any questions in chat. If there's any questions about this particular practice, we'll just take a moment to answer these questions, right? So a couple of things I saw, shoulders not like this, just the stomach. So my shoulder is not moving at all, right? Second thing is, what are the benefits of Kapalabhati? So let me enumerate these to you. Firstly, this is not a pranayam. This is a kriya. It's a cleansing practice for our entire respiratory system. So it really helps with moving the stale air out and helps you engage with the diaphragm. Another very good benefit, it gets rid of stomach fat. You know, you're really working with your abdominal muscles. You start really, this is as effective as sit-ups and things like that. And it's much easier. So use this. You know, us Indians tend to gain weight around our stomach. So this practice really, really helps. It also gives you that, it really helps with the skin as well. It's called the Kapala Bhati, shining skull. This is what it means, because it really does start imparting that yoga glow. You often see people who practice yoga, their faces seem to have a beautiful shine on them, right? This is because of the Kapala Bhati practice. You know, it really, really starts happening. You know, you can throw away your foundations, right? By doing this practice, and expensive moisturizers, just by doing the Kapala Bhati practice regularly. Now, the results don't come in like 2 weeks, right? You have to be regular over a year, 2 years, and then you'll start seeing these benefits in your life. But I promise you that they are there. At the end of the tunnel, there's multitude of benefits by practicing the Kapalbhati. You know, there's so many other benefits on a more subtle and pranic level. But do remember that with the pranayam, we are working on very subtle nuances in our body. You know, the number one, you know, I haven't spoken too much about prana because we don't have so much time, but fundamentally pranayam, you know, what we're trying to do in these practices is that we're trying to control the flow of subtle energy in our body. And it's possible by using the breath, right? And in a very simple way, when you control your breath, right, the breath and the mind are directly connected. If there's anything in life that's connected, it's the breath and the mind. The first thing that you do when you're really scared, angry, stressed, you hold the breath. You start breathing in deeply. So the emotions and the breath are directly connected. And by doing these practices on a daily basis, you help bring awareness to this very, very important tool in your life, right? Your breath. And this is what it is. It's a training. And I promise you that when you need these tools, they do come into your life. You know, when you do these practices regularly, when you're really angry, when you're really frustrated, when you get in a fight with your husband, when you get in a fight with your kids, you know, you lose your cool, these practices come into mind, and you'll start using your breath to regulate it. You know, regulate your anger, regulate your moods, all of that stuff. You know, in fact, breath has a direct connection to your hormones. When you start breathing in slowly, you start actually, your adrenal gland stops producing cortisol, which is, you know, which can be quite harmful when released in high doses. When you're stressed, this is what starts happening. So breath is even related to your hormonal system. For women, this is so important, right? So remember that the power of the breath is immense, and we're just touching the surface of these practices. But once you begin, it becomes very, very, very powerful. Okay, so that's about the Kapalbhati. Now let's get to the second practice, the Anuloma Viloma Kriya, which is the true pranayam. This is the first pranayam, and every single pranayam in yoga is based on this. Okay, this is your base of all pranayams. And when we do very advanced practices, we use this as a base. So all you have to do is to do this fundamental pranayam in your life. And this is all you need in this lifetime, I promise you. Beyond this, in a modern life, you don't need to go beyond it. Now, if you're living in a cave in the Himalayas, or you decide to go off into sannyas, then you can do a lot more stuff. But for our modern lives in which we live, this is the most easy, simple, effective, powerful pranayam. So how do we do it? The way that I teach it is that you take the right hand into a Vishnu Mudra. Keep the middle finger, index finger on the palms, the other fingers remain up. You take the right thumb and place it on the nostril. We see this nostril right here. You take the other two fingers, place it on the left nostril, and you keep the elbow very close to the body. Keep the chin slightly tucked in towards the chest, and you're going to just move this, like just try with it, close the right nostril, close the left nostril, and get comfortable. And now just try a couple on your own. Close the right nostril, inhale from the left. Close both the nostrils. And exhale from the right. Inhale from the right, left closed. And exhale from the left, right closed. Inhale from the right, left closed. And exhale from the right, left closed. Inhale from the right. Exhale from the right, left. So you can slowly begin to feel the movement of the breath from the left to the right. You can slowly start feeling that. That's how we're going to be doing this pranayam. And we're going to be doing the counting in a very simple way today, which is inhale on 4, retain on 4, and exhale on 4. As simple as that. So let's all try this together. Keep the back straight. Keep the left hand in a chin mudra. Take the right hand in a Vishnu mudra. So in case you missed it, middle finger, index finger on the palm, right thumb, right nostril, other 2 fingers, other nostril. Bring the elbow close to the body. And now close the right and inhale from the left on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4. Hold, close both the nostrils. Exhale, right, left closed on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4. Inhale, right, left closed on 1, 2, 3, 4. Retain. Exhale, left on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4. Inhale, left on 1, 2, 3, 4. Retain. Exhale, right on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4. Inhale, right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Retain. Exhale, left on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4. Inhale, left, right closed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Retain. Keep the focus at the point in between your eyebrows. Stay with us. Join in. Keep your eyes closed. Exhale, right on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4. Inhale, right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Retain the breath. Keep the focus at the point in between your eyebrows. And exhale, left on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4. Inhale, left, 1, 2, 3, 4. Retain the breath. Keep that focus. Keep that focus in between your eyebrows. This is a practice of stillness. Come on, everyone. Preeti ji and Aradha ji, beautiful job. Let's stay here. Keep the hand up. Exhale, right on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4. Inhale, right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Last retention. Keep that focus. Point in between your eyebrows. And slowly with control, exhaling from the left. Now drop your hands and take a few breaths. The whole state of mind is changed. If you're doing this along with me, you can feel the complete difference in the body and the mind. The mind feels totally relaxed. The body feels relaxed. You can stay here for just a few moments, breathing in and breathing out. Or if you'd like, you can open your eyes and ask a question. In our practice, we just have about 15 minutes left, so I'd like to answer any questions and talk a little bit more about these practices, right? So now you've had the experience of Kapalbhati, had the experience of the Anuloma Viloma practice altogether. right? And do remember that after the Kapalbhati, we did do a Kumbhaka, a 30-second breath retention. These Kumbhakas are very important. This is where all the magic happens. The yoga magic happens during the breath retentions, right? I promise you. Um, Sangeeta, holding the breath, the Kumbhaka, is very, very good for the cells of the lungs and for entire body. It creates a state called hypoxia in the cells. And when the cells go into a state of hypoxia, they start actually killing the negative cells around them. It's what the body does when it fasts, because oxygen is food for the cells, right? So when you stop giving them oxygen, they go into a destruction mode and they kill all the toxic cells around them. And now there's been a lot of scientific study around this, how breath practices are helping get rid of cancerous and mutated cells. This is the power of holding the breath. These kumbhakas, and in a pranic level, that's when the energy moves up the spine, right? That's when the kundalini energy has the opportunity to move up the spine. So there's always two sides, right? There's the physical benefits and there's the pranic benefits of these practices. In our scriptures, we've always looked at the pranic benefits, and now Western medicine is beginning to see the other benefits of these. And so Parul has asked, after abdominal surgery, Parul, you have to see what feels comfortable to you. Some people after giving birth, they're right after having a C-section, they're back to doing these practices in 5 days. So you have to see what's feeling comfortable to you. Are you okay when you're pumping your abdomen, or does it feel uncomfortable, right? Another thing that I want to talk about, the duration of these practices. I would suggest do 2 rounds of Kapalbhati to begin with, and hold the breath after every round. Begin with doing 50 pumpings, and then do the breath attention for 30 seconds. And then you can increase these pumpings, right? For the Anuloma Viloma, you should begin by doing at least 5 rounds. So what is 1 round? You begin from the left, you exhale from the right, and you inhale from the right, and you exhale from the left. That's 1 round. So 5 such rounds you should do. 5 such rounds will take you, depending on how long you inhale and exhale from, slowly try to increase these retentions. Inhale on 4, retain on 16, and exhale on 8. That's the typical Anuloma Viloma. But you can work with whatever feels comfortable to you in terms of ratios. The only important thing is that you keep on adding to it every day. Slowly, as you get your breath to control, it starts happening. Sonamji, can you use other fingers to press and release the nostrils? You can. I'm using Vishnu Mudra. Vishnu Mudra is very good. The mudra has powers, but you can use other mudras. Some people do this. Some people do a different kind of a mudra. They touch their forehead. So it depends on whatever you like. The Vishnu Mudra I find is the simplest. And BP medication, yes, Shilpa ji, you can do this, definitely, but see what, again, you feel comfortable doing. Begin with a little bit. You are your own best doctor, especially with breathing practices, right? The Archana ji, the ratio is 1:4:8. That's how the base practice of Anuloma Viloma. Inhale on 1 count, retain on 4, and exhale on 16. Right now, we were doing very simple. Inhale on 4, retain on 4, and exhale on 4. But you can slowly start building up the ratio, right? And then meditation, we're gonna end with a meditation. So speaking on meditation, guys, meditation, let me speak on this. It's not as easy as it sounds. It's not as easy as just sitting yourself down, closing the eyes, and going off into some Zen space. Okay, this is not what happens. So especially actually in yoga, there's a step. There's a step-by-step process. The first step is asana, the second step is pranayam, and the third step is meditation, right? Even before meditation is concentration, just focusing. The ability to focus is getting lost. Forget about meditation, right? So the breath helps us with meditation. In fact, the purpose of all of this is one day to get you to meditation. Even the asana practice, when we do the asanas, we're actually using all of our energies to go into a more meditative state of mind, right? That's what we do that. So Malatiji, we're actually doing that only, right? The ratio is 1:4:2, because we're, you know, one is if we're inhale, that's the, because if we inhale on 4, retain on 16, and exhale on 8, we're doing 1:4:2. So that's the base ratio, and we keep on multiplying that by 4. So that's exactly what we're doing. We're doing that 1:4:2 ratio. But to begin with, just a simple inhale on 4, retain on 4, and exhale on 4 is very, very good to start. And then you can slowly start working with the ratios, right? Seemaji is asking increased flexibility when bending. Seemaji, for flexibility, you'll have to do some asana practice. You know, breath helps. It's going to help you in your flexibility and to move, but you're going to have to come to yoga class for doing that. This is a good question. Should our exercise regime be followed by pranayam or vice versa? I would say do what's best for you. Do what suits your schedule, right? Do, if it's easy, just do whatever. It shouldn't get missed. That's why I always, in all of our classes in our yoga studio, we do pranayam before the asana. Why? So that it doesn't get skipped. Because oftentimes it gets, we just skip it, right? So even though in a classical posture sequence, we do the pranayam after the asana, right? But I always, in our Yoga Love studio, we do it before, because we place a lot of emphasis on this pranayam practice. Anulom Vilom is, yes, it's a very, very good way to begin meditation. Miniji is asking that question, right? It's very beautiful. But I just want to end this session with a few minutes of meditation all together, a little guided meditation. So if we could all take a comfortable seated posture. I'm going to do just 5 minutes of a meditation. Let's straighten the spine. And slowly start breathing, keeping the eyes closed. And let's everyone try to join in. You know, no matter if your focus is here anymore or not, let's everyone try to connect to your peers, to your friends, and to this energy that we've all created with this session. Let's all try. My plea is to you is to just, for 5 minutes, we all do this together. Closing the eyes, breathing in and breathing out. 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 Slowly, let's bring the focus on the tips of our toes, the tips of the right toes, the tips of the left toes. Let's bring the focus on the fingers, the right fingers and the left fingers. Let's bring the focus to the base of the spine, bringing all the focus to the base of the spine and slowly moving up the spine, vertebra by vertebra. If you're climbing a ladder, with every step that you take on the ladder, you're moving the energy up the spine, feeling all the tensions melt away as you move up the spine. You're really paying focus, moving up from the lower back to the middle back, to the upper back, into the neck, and from the neck into the brain, moving the energy all the way up. As you move the energy up the spine, you'll be able to feel a lightness in the body. The body's feeling so light, like a feather, moving the heaviness away from the body. Any heaviness which is weighing us down, any heaviness which is weighing down the body, weighing down our emotions. Let's slowly start to release into the atmosphere. Bringing all the focus now into our heart and visualizing in the heart a beautiful silver light glowing. Now, as heart's opening up, we slowly begin to exude that energy into the universe, into our own bodies, our own families, our own communities, this session. Like a flower, the heart is slowly blossoming into this beautiful golden silver light. Now bringing all the focus to your chin, to your lips, to your nose, to the right eye, the left eye, and to the point in between your eyebrows. Feeling that point between your eyebrows. Seeing that golden silver light at the point in between your eyebrows. And slowly feeling that point open up, allowing the energies of the universe to enter into our body, into our mind, energizing our bodies, filling our bodies, our minds, our spirits with positive energy, allowing us to become as light as a feather. Now going to the tips of the toes, feeling the lightness, moving to the fingers, the palms, moving to the base of the spine, moving to the heart, moving to the point in between your eyebrows, and slowly taking your palms, bring them to your heart center. In the Namaste position, let's conclude this class with a short prayer. Om. 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 Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Mudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishtate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Rub the palms together, in the base of the palms on the eyes. Bring the base of the palms on your temples and press them into your temples, and bring the fingers on your skull, filling your whole body and the energy of your palms into the whole body. The whole body is like an electrical circuit. And slowly open your eyes. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you for giving me your time, giving me energy. Thank you very much. I must admit that before this class, I was feeling a little tired, and now I'm feeling completely energetic. So thank you. Thank you for that, everyone. Really, when you all come together and you practice and you meditate and you do pranayam, something beautiful happens. You know, definitely your day will be nicer now than when it started. Mine definitely is. So thank you. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Dia.
Thank you so much, Ira. That was really incredible. I'm now going to ask my Vice President, Sumita Roy, to say a few words. Sumita Di, can you join us?
Sure. Thank you, Ms. Ira Trivedi, for sharing your knowledge and passion regarding the yoga. Our members will bring this practice into their lives and their homes. Thank you for giving your time. We thank our members, guests, and the media for support. See you soon in our next webinar. Over to Dia.
Thank you so much, Sumita Di, and thank you once again, Ira. You know, in my introduction today to the session, I had said that India has brought yoga to the world. And now I can say with confidence that you, Ira, have brought yoga to LSG. And
Oh, thank you. I hope so. You guys are so lovely.
Definitely.
I love people from Calcutta. They're just the best.
And I want to say, I want to make a special announcement to all our members from IRA. So as a special privilege, IRA is giving all our LSG members 3 special offers. So the first one is All LSG members can enjoy any one of her sessions at Yoga Love absolutely free. Secondly, all our LSG members can avail a 20% discount on her weight loss project. And thirdly, all our LSG members will get a 20% discount on the Yoga Basics program. We are going to be sharing these coupons with all of you immediately after this event. So do avail of them, improve your overall well-being during the lockdown. Thank you, Ira, once again.
Thank
All
you.
my
So nice to see so many of the people, Vibha, Vinita, so many of our
okay.
regular practitioners here. So it's so
Yes,
nice to see you guys from, it's wonderful. So thank you guys for joining. It's really nice to be connected. So thank you for
Thank you, Ira.
for all of my friends from Calcutta, from all of our students from Calcutta, all of our practitioners. Really hope to see guys. Please come whenever you like to the yoga studio. As I said, you know, with online yoga coming your way, there's really now no excuse not to practice. You know, whether you practice with us or some other teacher, now you just, you know, all of these teachings are one step away. I think this is the biggest boon the pandemic has brought us, right? That now you can just get connected to so much knowledge just one click away. Otherwise, for a session like this, I'd have to just even a few months ago fly down to Calcutta and fly back. And now we're able to give each other our time and energy right from the comfort of our homes, you know. So thank you so much for joining. And any questions, guys, please connect on Instagram at Ira Trivedi, at Yoga Love. These are our handles. On email, you can ask Dia for my email. There's an email, admin, ADMIN, at iratrivedi.in. Please connect. Any queries that you may have that I wasn't able to address to you, please connect on email, on Instagram, on Facebook, all of these mediums, whichever one suits you. I'd be happy to answer any remaining questions that are there that I may not have been able to during this session.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ira.
Thank you, everyone.
Once
Thank you for your
again.
focus. It's a really such lovely, lovely ladies. All the ones who I could see with the camera on, you know, Anuradha ji, Sangeeta, Chandani, Sparrow, Shubha, so many. Thank you so much.
We've had a lot of people watching.
Bharti, Malati, yeah, wonderful. Inu, so many of them. Sonamji, thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, I can see one Galaxy A7. I know that's not a person, but thank you for joining. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, so hope to see you guys soon at our online studio. Please come. We do have a yoga basics course starting. I think it's at the end of the month. It's a it's a 5-day course, which really gets you, which really creates a very good grounding for yoga practice, you know. So over these 5 days, we cover the basic asanas, which can really help start a yoga journey. So this yoga basics course is my favorite course to teach, and I teach it live. So if any of you have been wanting to start yoga, or even if you have done yoga in the past, but want to come back to to bring yoga back into your life, this is a very good course. So I'll have Dia send emails for that if you'd like.
Correct.
But looking forward to having all of you guys and seeing you soon, either in real life or in or virtually. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Hari Om.
Thank you, Ira.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.